Earlier this year, Aputure announced one of their coolest lights of the year, the MC. They're small, practical, and they can change colors. But what was most exciting to me was the inclusion of a carrying case with wireless charging. You see, I've always had a problem with these small lights because they only become useful when you have more than one. However, how do you keep track of charging all of them without losing your mind? And what I have here is it's just a styrofoam cutout. Here's the real MC. I could only get my hands on one, and that was actually because Nadia was awesome enough to get me one for Christmas. Because, like I mentioned, originally I wanted to wait until the carrying case was out. We're gonna put that there. But considering that the Aputure originally wanted the carrying case to be out by December, and it's already December, and we're already in the middle of December. Plus, all of the single lights are still on back order. I decided to see if we could do something ourselves.
Intro, drums, music.
One of the goals of this project was not only to finish ours before Aputure releases theirs, but it's also to do it at a lower price. You see, I was a little surprised to find out that their case cost $1,500. That's quite a bit extra over buying 12 of the lights individually at $90 a pop. At this point, I have sourced most of the materials I plan to use, and while we might still have some unexpected things to buy, here's a list of the prices. I forget exactly how much we've spent so far, but it's definitely around $12.50 or something like that. And we ended up with a bigger case. So let's talk about the case for a second. Noises, so many noises. The first thing you'll notice is that this is quite a hefty case. You could definitely use the smaller one. This was just around the same price as the smaller ones, and this one comes with wheels. You also know that we're making some sacrifices. This is not the sturdiest case in the world, not Pelican per se. It also has no brand on it, which is not ideal a lot of times. We've been using mono-price cases for most of our equipment. I will say that the one Pelican case I have is definitely sturdier. And one of the things to always look out for when buying knockoff cases is the wheel mechanism. I was a little surprised when the Pelican case had a really sort of flimsy, like really thin, whatever this is called. Yeah, handle mechanism. But later I realized that it's sort of on purpose so that it doesn't rob you of a lot of space inside the case. So on this one, you'll notice, if we remove these things, which we don't need, you'll notice that the wheel mechanism takes up a lot of your interior space. Look at that.
Wow.
But that might actually come in handy because we need to shove some electronics in the case, and that seems like a really good spot to do it. Does your case have handles? Aputure? I mean wheels? Because it has handles.
Stop.
This was $90 on eBay. Links below. So now that we have our case, the next step is to figure out how we're going to have 12 charging pads, and on top of that, 12 lights sitting perfectly aligned. And for that, we went to Home Depot. I purchased one of these things. I had to cut it for it to fit in my cart. So that's 1/2 inch styrofoam insulation, and it costs about $8. It's 8 feet by 4 feet or something like that. Way more than you need. You'll have to cut it down to maybe around this size to start off and sort of trim it as you go. This is a very tedious process that I did before Ethan came in. What? Oh yeah, also you can use the rest of the material as a beadboard, because it's literally a beadboard. There's like people that have done it, but you can take that part off, and then you have a white card and a silver card. There's one more thing I did to try to differentiate us. Since the case is bigger, I thought, why not include more lights than 12? So here's my mock-up so far. And this is 2 pieces. One of them will have the cutouts of each of the lights. 16 total, so an extra row somewhere. Math. So this one has an extra row, I think at the bottom. I believe their case is only three going down. issues with that, this could be pretty flimsy once it's all cut out. As you can see, I haven't done it yet. I've also made a measuring mistake, so this side is much thicker than this side. Man. But again, the material's so cheap that if you wanted to correct that, you could. I'm not. Let's keep going through the materials. I forget that that's what we're doing. As for the actual charging pads, I was able to find these again on eBay for about $1 each. So testing them, I figured that the cable included is really flimsy and not that great. But the actual charging pads are, I mean, it's just a coiled cable inside, so it's kind of hard to get that wrong. So far, they work okay, but the cable is neither long enough nor reliable enough to use it. So on top of this, we had to buy extra cables. And we got 2 types from Amazon. This is a 6-pack of 1-foot cables, and I have some other 3-foot cables over here. So the idea is we'll route all of them to one side of the case, where they will plug in to 2 of these. Well, now 3, since I am adding 4 lights. These are 12 volts to USB converters. If you could plug this into your car and you have 6 ports to charge your phones or whatever. But in this case, we're using them to power our charging pads. Well, the reason we did that is because the input on one of these, as they were designed for cars, is between 12 and 24 volts, and some trucks have 24-volt batteries. And why we care about that is because B-mount batteries output 17 volts, meaning if we wire this correctly, we will be able to not only charge our case or our lights through a wall outlet, but also through a B-mount battery, just like Aputure. I wish I could claim originality there. But yes, the goal was to mimic that as well. So how will we charge it off the wall? Well, that's one of the downsides of using the system instead of a fully integrated one. We need a separate power supply. So this is a 120-watt converter thing. It outputs 12 volts, 10 amps. And this is plenty to power all 16 lights. However, we're using it to just do 12. Because I only got 12 charging pads. I decided to do 16 afterwards. This is very confusing. I'm still waiting on one more thing to arrive, which is essentially an extra port, one of these, and the goal is to put that on the side of the case with a switch, so that we can, plug one of these cords into the case and then also turn on and off, as well as having a regular 3.5 DC input for the B-mount batteries. So that's the project, and well, I guess I can show you some of the progress. Like I said, I've been doing this all morning. So far, I've made 3 cutouts for the charging pads, and this is sort of what the cabling will look like behind it. Everything will be glued down at the end using most likely silicone, although I haven't decided that. And the idea is for both of these to be glued together. And as you can see, it will sit on like that. And hold on. And if I plug it into my e-tron battery pack, straight from Germany, I'm in China, you will see that, I don't know if you caught that, but the lighting actually changed. That's interesting. Now it's charging. Hooray! Which leads us to the next big issue. Because so far it's been going kind of smoothly, if you can call it this smoothly. There's a lot of work ahead. And unfortunately, if you were hoping to see the finished project today, stay tuned for part 2. The biggest challenge then becomes what to do with all of the extra space that will be available. This is actually one of the reasons why Aputure hasn't released their case yet. I did get to see it at the Aputure Flex event, where one of the representatives and also Ted at some point mentioned that they're working on some sort of drawer system on the side of the case where you can store accessories like the diffuser or something like that. My working idea so far, is to maybe have some sort of hinge mechanism or strap where this sits on like so, and then you would pull on something, not the cable, and it would open around there, and you would be able to access the bottom of the case and see the electronics. The positives of doing something like that instead of another drawer type system is, well, definitely simpler, and also you maintain the water seals around the main door. I am curious to see how Aputure plans to address that issue. Maybe they'll do something similar. It will increase manufacturing complexity, and that might be one of the reasons why their case ends up being considerably more expensive. But one of their goals is for it to be really rugged and ready for rental houses. Well, mine is not. So there's definitely some value to what they're doing, and I'm not saying that this is better. It is different, and if you want to do something like this, well, stay tuned, because hopefully we can finish this before January and before they start shipping theirs, or maybe even after, because they'll be out of stock for a long time. Let's be honest. Nobody, YouTubers.
Thumbnail right there.
I also ordered more lights. Again, this was a gift from Nadia, and I didn't plan to buy more, but now that we're doing this, I have ordered more, but they're all in back order. I tried all the stores, and I even tried ordering them straight from China, but the order got canceled. I don't know. So we'll wait until we get more. Until then, I can show you that it's functional. It's not plugged in right now, but yeah. And if you're concerned about this looking very ugly, there is something that plans to use to address that, and it's called plastic dip. I actually think it'll look really cool. You might be laughing now, but you'll see. By the way, this foam is better than the monoprice one, which is surprising. The monoprice one falls apart really easily. This one feels a little bit better. But anyway, someone said if you buy a knockoff case, once you have the cutouts for your foam, use plastic dip to kind of hold them together. Otherwise, they keep falling apart. I have used this product before, not in any of this, but it gives a nice rubbery feel. You'll see. It'll be nice. I would spray some of this to show you, but it's just gonna make my life harder later on. And then, did you think that looks pretty cool? The charging pads, they're white and red, kind of like Aputure logo. It's white and red. Speaking of ripping off Aputure products, during Black Friday, I got my hands on one of these. Do you recognize the design? Doesn't it look familiar? That two-tone with the zipper? It's not red though, that's weird. What's this? Is this a 120D? No, it's a Clar. Is that the fan that Aputure uses? I think so.
We don't know.
Is it from the same factory? Probably. So, as far as I can tell, this is a knockoff of the 120 line of lights. It does have color changing capabilities, if you see at the little cough chip. But the cool thing is that this came with a Velcro strap with a B-mount lock on the back, meaning that I took it off this thing because it doesn't need it, and I put it on my makeshift power supply for the 300D. Yeah, you want to raise the ISO. Here, hold on. I'm gonna power it down. I'm gonna unplug it. Take it off. Yeah, bring it over here. There's some light. Yeah, so there's this Velcro strap with a B-lock on it. I don't know where to get these without having to buy an extra light, but this is a perfect ending to that series. Remember I said I was gonna find a way to mount this on the back? Well, here it is. Apparently it's a Velcro strap to a B-lock, and it just clips on the back. And look how perfect that looks.
Knockoff. Yay.
There you go. Fanless power supply for the 300D. Check it out. Corner. Am I doing the right corner? It's that one, isn't it?
Yeah. But just flip it.
Just flip it when I say that. Check it out. Corner. If you guys want to see the rest of this video at some point in your lives, give us a like, subscribe, and we'll see you when we see you.